What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and it appears that Austin Metcalf's dad is making a series of very head-scratching decisions. In one case, he says stuff that is very indicative of a grieving father, and in another case, he does something that makes him seem like it's like controlled opposition or something, like it's some sort of op. There are people who are questioning this his handler that he has, who used to be a Bernie guy and now is a I don't know what his group is now, but he seems to be flanked by this man in everything he does. And I'm not really upset at people thinking maybe something's a little bit weird with this guy. We're gonna take a look at some of the claims that are being made about him and some of the news with him as well, after a super quick word from this video's sponsor. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Fist Out. It's a very, very cool, groundbreaking, visually interactive, competitive card game that really brings together a lot of things that I love from, say, like games like Magic the Gathering or games like Hearthstone. A lot of games that I've played in the past, and now you can take it with you. The game itself is great to look at. It kind of blends fantasy and magic, but each individual character is unique, and what I really love is how in-depth the deck building is and how strategic the game can get. In the game, there's 7 races and nearly 300 cards each, featuring unique skills, so you can build up and nurture a perfect 30-card deck for deployment in battle. Creating diverse strategic gameplay, different skills can overlap, providing you with multifaceted combos. It's got a lot of awesome, smart deck building stuff that I love about games like Magic the Gathering and others. On top of that, each hero can be equipped with weapons and treasures to enhance their combat power. It's very, very in-depth. So if you've ever played a strategic card game before, online or off, I highly recommend you give Fist Out a try. You can play it anytime, anywhere. There's a ton of strategy to it, so the game is very deep, and there's a lot of different things you can do inside the game. And on top of that, use my link in the description or scan the QR code if you're viewing on PC to get a starter gift pack worth $20 by downloading the game through my link. Give the game a try. I'm sure you're really going to love it. I know I'm having a ton of fun playing it right now, so I look forward to seeing you in the game. Now, there are a lot of, resurfacing tweets. I've talked a little bit about these. His Kwanzaa tweet. To all who celebrate, happy Kwanzaa. As we celebrate the principles of unity, creativity, and community, let me extend my warmest wishes to your homes. May this festival, something, something, something. Again, I get why people are upset that he isn't more upset. And even I'm starting to question what's going on. I feel like he must have some sort of internal struggle here where, he's a lib and he wants to still appear woke and he wants to appear progressive. So he doesn't want, to take part in a lot of the protests. I also understand that some of these protests seem like fed ops as well. And they also seem cringe. And so, I would probably not want to go to those myself. But one of the interesting things was Jeffrey Metcalf, again, whining about Elon Musk in these social media posts, and apparently doesn't want me or anyone else making videos on it, discussing this crime, because it's bad. And he doesn't want it to appear, too truthful. Quote from Jeff Metcalf, father of the teen who lost his life at the track meet. The racial stuff I've seen on this site is about this is despicable. I really hate that this site, I assume he means X, has become a low intelligence racist mecca. Yet another thing Elon completely demolished. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on their soapbox trying to politicize this. Unless you were there, unless you saw it, don't spread gossip. Metcalf also requested that social media warriors and those using his son's passing to create political discourse, I assume they mean discord, let alone racial discourse, is disheartening. So now he's lashing out at people that are covering this. Look, I understand this guy's human. He's obviously very progressive, or wants people to think he's progressive. And he's right. We don't know that this particular issue had anything to do with race. We also know that George Floyd didn't have anything to do with race. But what happened after George Floyd is, and I'm sure this guy took pictures kneeling down, is that people looked at the totality of police interactions, in their opinion, with a certain group of people and made it about race. Even though he was a drug addict, criminal, many times over, his interaction with police had nothing to do with his skin color and everything to do with his decisions. But it was a white cop and a black guy. That's all people cared about. Now, I'm sure you were hashtag BLMing it all up during that. In this particular case, it is yet another white individual who lost her life to a young black man. This is a group of people, young black men in particular, that are, there needs to be a conversation on why they're doing some of the things that they're doing. I know I have a lot of black viewers, and my black viewers know that, if I, say something crazy, it's generally not intentional, but I would argue that most of them would agree that there's something going on with young black men that is causing them to lash out in these ways, and be so willing to take a life. I think Jet Metcalf telling people not to cover this is not smart. I do sympathize with him and understand him when people are hosting rallies with his passed away son's face on their website. I think any dad, regardless of their politics, wouldn't want any part of that. But he is being kind of, he's being a little weak. He's being a little odd that he doesn't apparently want to, he's more concerned with the black community who doesn't care about him, who right now is spreading rumors online that he was in prison for SA, which I'll show you that, and many thousands of retweets on that kind of stuff. But his dad did post a gut-wrenching message to his son on Easter. The father of Austin Metcalf shared this message on Easter. Jeff Metcalf shared the emotional song "Beat You There" by country singer Will Dempsey, which has lyrics I read, "I don't know why God always takes the good ones first, and man, I've tried strong to carry on, but dang, this hurts." Along with a link to the song, the grieving father wrote, "I love you, Austin. Happy Easter." These are things that I think any father would post, regardless of their political affiliations. It's just weird that he is not calling out both sides. That's why I think, look, I'm not going to throw any shade his way. People can grieve in their own way. But I think what people are confused about, what people are saying, is that it's really curious that he has all these problems with, in particular, white folks who are covering this and talking about, crime statistics and things like that. He's calling them white trash and race baiters and all this kind of stuff. But he's not saying anything about the black community who's saying that his kid deserved it, or spreading fake news that he was in prison for SA, or laughing at it, or donating money saying, that he got what was coming to him. He hasn't said a single word about that. He simply said the white folks who are doing this are garbage people. The race baiters, Jeff Metcalf told the Post, effing people want to spew their narrative for their own agenda. They don't give an ish about my family, about Karmelo Anthony's family. I want the superintendent to explain to me how you let these white pieces of trash on school property where my son lost his life less than 2 weeks ago. Again, first of all, why are you calling out that they're white? There were people there who were not white. It's very weird. And remember, his mother does not exactly share his instant forgiveness.
I heard your husband say within hours of this, that he forgave this other young man, and he got there so quickly. And I honestly don't know that I could. And I just want to see, and I don't know if there's a right or a wrong place to be, especially as quickly as this has happened. Megan, how do you feel on that front today?
I am not like their dad. I am so angry.
Good for her.
That boy. It's just not fair. That's all I have.
I understand.
I'd like to say
this.
It's forgave, not forgotten, but I'm not at that point yet to forgive that kid for what he did to my brother. Because, 17 years, my best friend just there and didn't blink of an eye.
So it's very weird that dad, the rest of the family is like, yo, this is kind of crazy. And, no, I don't forgive him. The dad was like instantly virtue signaling. Now, you could say he was being a Christian, which is possible, to forgive. But there's a lot of stuff here. You see, Jeff Metcalf's handler is Bruce C. Carter. I literally mean handler. He's the head of a PR firm, and he's coaching Jeff Metcalf. His story is all too familiar. 18 months in the Fed for weapons charges and some sort of Bernie and Trump bro for, quote, underserved communities. This is the guy you've seen, coming around. He's, attending all these meetings with Jeff Metcalf. Again, 18 months in prison. After a technical violation, going hunting with a business associate occurred just 1 week before his probation was set to end. I mean, he was also arrested for illegal purchase of firearms. He was also in the Black Men for Bernie and Trump for urban communities, a bold effort to explore how politics intersects with the daily realities of underserved communities. I mean, why is this guy? This guy's been in like every picture. Bruce C. Carter. Like Bruce C. Carter has been with him when he went to the press conference. He's the one that showed up at this event with the phone call. Team blackmails winning is what his coat says there. I don't really know what that is. Let's see. Team blackmails winning. Okay. Team BMW. Based on history and primary data, here we have the first sentence is about the Holocaust, of course. Why wouldn't it be? The Team Blackmails Winning is a unique initiative that culminates 12 years of rigorous research, trials, and studies based on primary data. It aims to combat issues like the senseless life takings, absent fathers, and generations of hopelessness by empowering black males 12 to 26 willing to stand on business who are in middle school, high school, or college, a dropout in the streets, or a gang member. If you're tired of seeing your mom struggle, feel like nobody cares about you, want to own a business. Okay, good. It seems like a good grift. We often talk about, hey, there isn't enough people in that community helping that community. His dad seems to be very weird. You see these people on Twitter saying that he was charged with SA in 2011, trying to get his GoFundMe down. This appears to be fake. I could not find any real evidence of this, and I could find plenty of people debunking this and saying that it's not real. It's very, very odd that he seems to be so willing to go to the mat for a community that's spreading stuff like that around him, that took the life of his son. This guy is very suspect. He appeared out of nowhere. He's been, in federal prison. To me, it's suspect. I hope you're informed by this video. If you were, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.